Good morning, everybody. I light this candle this morning in honor of lighting. Of course, everything, the cue is not quite working because the candle's not working. I just want to welcome all of you this morning, whether you're online or here in person, and just loving the light that each of you are, even if I don't have this light just yet. I know the light is within each of you, and I honor and appreciate that. I'm Reverend Jay Lang, and a special welcome to our community if this happens to be your first time. It's a blessed day today here at our center. I'm so glad you're here with us, and we want to begin with a little music with Georgia Davis.
Good morning. And so if you didn't know, when we sing, we raise our vibrational value in ourselves and in the universe. So I would invite you, if you feel so inclined, to stand and sing with me, because most people around a certain age know this song. And let's raise the vibrational value of the universe and sing it like you mean it, like you're a little kid, like who cares what it sounds like? Go for it, Joseph. Now, everybody knows Here Comes the Sun, don't you? We're all in the choir today. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Ooh, sounds great. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Oh, I love you, sweetie. Little darling, woo! Little darling, the smiles returning to the faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Sun, 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 here it comes. 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 Little darling, I feel the ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. It's all right. You guys did great. And at home, hopefully, too. Raising that vibrational value.
But so many of the Beatles songs, it almost puts you at ease. It's more than the words. I mean, here comes the sun. And an echo of myself there. That's the light within us. I mean, today was the first Sunday morning we've had in a while, which I've really appreciated, the fog coming in. And yet it's it's meaningful in that it's the light within us that's coming forth, especially after a pretty dark 18 months we've had, somewhat sequestered and depending on to relative terms. So it's great to just come out into the sun and be present and allow the sacred to come through us as us. If this happens to be your first time, there'll be a special welcome of you later in the service, but we want to welcome you and assure you that this is a open and affirming community in all ways, and we're just blessed to be part of this community. And as an affirmation of this community, we like to say our vision and mission statement. So if you'll look up on the screen and repeat with me, we are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. And our mission statement, we are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. An affirmation that we know to be true in this very moment, and it's so great to be a part of a community that affirms that. Before we begin the regular part of our service, I just want to give you a few announcements. The first one is about, if you haven't heard, make sure you save the date for September 18th for our Sip and Savor fundraiser. Is going to be a big event. We're planning an in-person event right out here in the courtyard with wine tasting from some pretty big wineries that are coming in right now. So we're excited about that, as well as a silent auction, live music. It'll just be a fun event. So first of all, if you have anything that you might, or know somebody who might want to donate either to pour wines at the event, or a donation for the silent auction, art, or gift certificates, or wine, like a package of wine of some sort, or vacation rentals, anything like that, we'd really appreciate it. There's I sent you an email today with links, a text with links, as well as online. There's links for forms to be able to put in your donations. It's a pretty easy process to do that. If you have any questions about it, Mary, come up here for a minute. I know you weren't planning to go on a spot. Come up here for a minute, Mary. You didn't know you were going to be on stage this morning, did you? I just want to honor Mary for a moment, because in the past 2 years, she has kept this place together with everything that you've done, and is continuing to do that. So we honor the heart that you serve with. Thank you. Blessings. So you can reach her at the number or at office@nvcsl.com to ask her questions about anything. And I mean anything, right? Anything. The meaning of life, what to do with my teenage kid, anything like that, right? So please, and tickets will go on sale next week sometime, and I'll let you know about that for the event itself. But we appreciate those auction items coming in. And then starting August 3rd, we're starting a new class called Journey the Soul. I'm excited about it. This is a new class by Centers for Spiritual Living. And it's going to take the science of mind and heart that we talk about all the time, but it's going to have an emphasis on emotional healing, practical applications, self-love, soul presence, and life direction. A lot for one class in 6 weeks, right? But it's integrating psychology and our spiritual principles together, and has a book called the Mystics of the Soul, and I can't remember the name of it now, but it has a book about that's a really great book too. And then in August, we're going to have an evening picnic here at 6 p.m. in our courtyard. Just a community event. No, just bring food and bring yourself, and we'll have some fun here. And then September 11th, we're getting more information about it, but we're going to have an interfaith prayer ceremony with my interfaith group, because it'll be the 20th anniversary of 9/11. So it'd be an important time to get together with other faiths and pray and know peace, and coming together as one, and symbolically in this valley, and then knowing that for the whole world there. So look forward to that. And I think that's enough for now, right? There's a lot of things going on. And yes? They brings up for the picnic. Yeah, bring your own food. It's not a sharing thing. It's like, yeah, right. And now we'll begin the sacred part of our service.
And as Jay said, we're going to have the sacred part of our service. So just so you know, we're going to go through this song 3 times. You don't have to sing it. You can just enjoy it. And then there will be a period of silence and prayer. So you don't need to clap or anything. You can just relax. Can you hear me, Jay? I can hear me. Can you all hear me? They can hear me here. And I hope they can hear me at home, but I can't control that. So I invite you to close your eyes if you feel so inclined. And if you feel like singing the song and catch it, go ahead. And if not, just feel it. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's relief from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait in this precious silence, and I hear all that can never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's relief from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait in this precious silence when I hear all that can never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's relief from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait in this precious silence when I hear all that can never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself. From the silence, everything came. In that silence, there is that peace that is always here, always underneath all the chaos and the noise. So remembering that the peace is constantly here within us, around us, surrounding us, this divine peace of beginning and creation, always present, always waiting for us to touch and know and to be with this divine peace right at our center, in the next breath, in the next heartbeat. Peace can be found, just waiting to be recognized and realized. Knowing that this divine peace is where I come from. I come from that silent peace. Before I came into this world, I know this is the truth of all of us. We come from that peaceful place, and we're always moving with it, into it, deeper and deeper, until we are done here. I just claim for each of us to remember, peace is at the center of our very beings, at the center of our minds and hearts, at the center of all of this life, just waiting for us to be silent to connect with it. Remembering that, I just realized that this is already what's happening right here and right now, in the constant and ever-present right here and right now. So knowing this, I celebrate that each one of us moves forward into this deep knowing, ever changed from this moment into the next, reborn from that silent peace. So knowing that there's a law that comes to support this word, to make this word become reality, I just let this word into that law, let it go, and knowing it is already done, I proclaim it. And so it is. It's okay, we'll have another song soon. It's called Return to Me by Ricky Byers Beckwith. Can we start it over again? Oh, life. Just gotta laugh sometimes. Return to me, return to me, with every breath, return, and then begin with me, with every breath, return. Return to love, return to love, with every breath, return, and then begin with love, with every breath, return. Return to peace, return to peace, with every breath, return, and then begin with peace, with every breath, return. Return to me, return to me, with every breath, return, and then begin return. With every breath, return. With every breath, return.
This kind of thing, right? Because I too want to stay in that moment. Just with every breath, return to me as the voice of Spirit this morning. She sings to us to return. How beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So we continue this month with this theme about we hold these truths. And the truths that, although it alludes to our Declaration of Independence, we're also talking about the truths, the spiritual truths we hold in our heart. The oneness that's the very nature of who we are. You know, the founders, and I've been talking about this a little bit, but I just want to re-emphasize this, the founders of our nation, you know, Jefferson and Washington and Hamilton and all these people, they were primarily deist and believed in the freedom of thought. Believed that, I mean, that's why many of the pilgrims and other people came over on these ships in order to feel free. Free of constraints of governments, and why we declared independence away from the British government, because we wanted to feel free. Now, I know a lot of you might say, well, there's some people that came on ships over here that weren't very free. Well, that's true. That's another story of the Africans that were shipped over here not under their wishes. And some of these founders were people who had slaves 300 years before our Declaration of Independence. And what's interesting, I loved our singer last week about talking about these spiritual songs and that they found their freedom. And they, even before they found their freedom from their slaveryhood, they found their freedom in their singing, in their voice, in their soul, and then it became true. It manifested. And so the same is true for us, true for all people, that first we find our freedom within ourselves, because if we don't find that freedom within ourselves, we're not going to find it anywhere else, and a freedom in our body, mind, and soul. And the main tool we do for our freedom in our mind, which I want to talk about today, is mindfulness. The question is whether we are mindful or our mind is full. And we can have our brain so full of things that we are not present with life. And so we take our model from our dogs, from our pets, that have really no agenda at all, yet our brains are full of things like that. And I know the next slide is interesting too, because the question is, if only mindfulness interrupted our lives rather than life interrupting our mindfulness, right? What's interesting about our faith and about this country, about the founding of this country, is there was a emerging, if you want to think about it, a common thread, a common ground of these free thinkers, especially the transcendentalists like Emerson and Thoreau. And they believed in not transcending above the material world and experiencing something different. Emerson talked about self-reliance, not self-reliance on ourselves, but on reliance on something greater than us that we can find within ourselves, that we can reveal in ourselves. I mean, Thomas Jefferson had the audacity to take Bibles and cut them up and take out the parts of the Bible he didn't believe and paste it in. Literally, now this is not a computer cut and paste. This is really scissors, paste, put it in a book, and then published it. And it's called the Jefferson Bible. And and what it is, it's the teachings of Jesus. It took out the virgin birth. It took out the miracles. It took out the resurrection. It just had the teachings of Jesus. And the truth is, that's what we resonate also. His parables and the stories he says of love, we can connect that, as well as other master teachers, Buddha, that talked about the middle way, Confucius, and the other spiritual teachers of the modern day, that we resonate with them because they're free thinkers, because we're resonate with this idea of mindfulness. Being present with what is, not to be caught into regrets of the past or planning into the future too much, anxious about the future, fearful about the future. I know that there are times we need to plan, and there's times we need to think about the past to learn from it. There's no doubt, but we don't want to obsess on that and be so caught in that we're missing the moment. If you get my email, you know that I've been gardening a lot this summer. Great year to garden, because we haven't had triple digits here. I know other places have. We bless them. We've had really good weather. And so, but the thing that was bothering me is I love kale, and my kale had all these aphids and little bugs on it. So I bought some stuff at Home Depot, commercial product that promised would get rid of it. And I was just so enthusiastic, we'll call that, and motivated to get rid of those. I just kept spraying and spraying, thinking I'm going to really get those bugs, get them repelled out of here. And I wasn't paying attention to what was happening. And the truth is, this stuff was an oily substance, and I oversprayed it. It was creating a sticky layer on top of the leaves. And as soon as I was finished, I noticed what I had done, and I tried to rinse it off, but to no avail. By the next day, the leaves were literally shriveled, the kale leaves, because they couldn't breathe. They couldn't, they couldn't do what they needed to bring in that carbon dioxide. And I thought about this. First of all, I grieved because, now I have to go buy kale, and that's okay, but I'd rather grow it. But I was thinking about myself, how many times do my assumptions, my judgments of other people, my thinking that they're the same person they were the last time I saw them, when I know everything evolves and changes, that my assumptions have been sticky, or they've held them in, or they've constricted them and not giving them room to breathe. And how many times have I done that to myself as well? That I assume things are certain ways, and I'm not allowing that space for me to breathe. Room to breathe and return to me, return to spirit. Allow that breath to come into myself and know that I am free, that nothing constricts me. Fear and worry about the future, about what it may hold, letting that go so I can be present with what is right now. And that's in our relationships, in our, in conversations with friends. And I mean, how many of you have been driving somewhere, suddenly you're driving to a different place than where you had intended to go? And because we're not mindful, we're like thinking about something else. Or we're distracted in a task, or you're reading a book and suddenly you go, I don't remember anything the last 2 pages. I mean, you're reading, the words are coming into your head, but you don't have any idea what they just said. And we can do the same with conversations with people, that we lose track, and just let's take out, if we're just not so busy in our brain to slow down, we can track things. Rumi says that be grateful for whatever comes, because each of us has been sent as a guide from beyond. Be grateful for whoever comes, I meant to say, for whoever comes, because each of them has been sent as a guide from beyond. So each person we connect with is a guide from beyond, is someone bringing a gift of love, a gift of truth, a gift of presence, and a gift to us that we can tune in and be present with what is. I remembered that Heraclitus, a philosopher in ancient Greece, said that no person ever steps in the same river twice, or because it's not the same river and it's not the same person. So we even if we just saw somebody 20 minutes ago, they're a different person and I'm a different person. And be curious about what that is, about who that is and when they are. And I also been thinking about, last week I quoted Mary Oliver, and I just love this poem of hers. I know I can walk through the world along the shore under the trees with my mind filled with things of little importance. In full self-attendance, a condition I can't really call being alive. Because we're so full of, what does she call it? Self-attendance. I am there sometimes, self-attendance. Thinking of things we need to do, and we're missing the very moment now to be mindful. Buddhism and Hinduism and Confucianism, all these Eastern philosophies are the ones that brought this idea of mindfulness in here, and yet it correlates with this country and the founders of this country. It makes sense because this is the only way we can really free our mind, is to be mindful. And Buddhism talked about the 3 jewels of their faith, if you want to call it that. And they are what they would call the Buddha nature, and the Dharma and the Sangha. So if I could get those slides up here, that'd be great. So the Buddha nature is really just God. That's what, I mean, they didn't worship Buddha in any way. So the Buddha nature was really just their spiritual understanding, their spiritual recognition. But we know for us, our way, that we have these same 3 jewels represented by these circles here. And it's in the context of oneness and our vision statement, our mission statement that says intentional loving, unconditional loving, seeing God in all people and all faiths. So that's what we're trying to do. And we do that through the next slide, through the Buddha nature, or the recognition and realization of the divine, through the teachings. The Buddhism talked about the teachings that they have, but it's the universal teachings they teach. So it's our teachings. And Sangha is the Buddhist word for community. So these 3 jewels we have here as well: the recognition of the divine, the Sangha of the community, and the teachings. And if you know about these Zen diagrams, they're really fun because you look at where they overlap now. So the next slide shows that when the teachings and the realization of the divine, that's our classes and workshops, the community and the recognition of the divine come together, that's when we're compassion in action. That's where we're doing community service and outreach we do. And our teachings and our community, when they come together, it's services like this. And when that is all brought together, the very center is this conscious evolution that we're working on, the love revolution that we're doing. So I really appreciate this community and connecting with this. And we have many tools that open us up, but this one that I'm talking about more than anything is mindfulness today. But we also have prayer and meditation and visioning, the sacred study and things like this that we practice, practicing the presence in the world. And what I know about this shift that we are a part of in this community, it's like Patricia Diane Cota Robles, who wrote a book called Raising Consciousness. She said, trying to change physical conditions without changing my consciousness is like trying to change the reflection in a mirror without changing the object causing the reflection. Makes sense, right? So we change ourselves, we come present, and we know that, and then we do it together in this way, and we're changing the reflection of this whole community and raising the consciousness. Now, when I talk about mindfulness, I also want to be more specific about the ways that we can be mindful. And I had the little illustration up earlier about dogs and cat, about the dog, but the truth is, we can, our furry friends that we have, if you don't have one at home, many of us do, but if you don't, you know your neighbors do, or some of your family does, and you can see what a model they are of mindfulness. But also, like people in the world, sometimes that model is how not to be mindful. They're both a model of both. And I think there's this little clip from Up, the movie Up, is illustrating of that.
My master made me this collar. He is a good and smart master, and he made me this collar so that I may talk. Squirrel! My master is good at...
Right? So this unconditional... unconditional love that dogs and cats do. I know cats are a little more reserved, but they do climb up in that lap. They do appreciate the love. And so they offer this unconditional love, and for us to be able to love them unconditionally, but they're also distracted, right, by the little furry ball or a little mouse or a squirrel in this case. And so we also notice that our own distractions in the world. What are the squirrels for us that we, what was that, right? So what I would say is, as we follow this model of our furry friends, the first thing that I would say is we need to sit and we need to stay. We don't need to roll over, by the way, but sitting and staying. And that just means a time to contemplate, a time to be, both figuratively and literally. And I loved the teachings of Jack Kornfield, who said that, talked about this idea, and he said we can create the compassionate space that allows for the rising of all things: sorrows, loneliness, shame, desire, regret, frustration, happiness, difficulties. And they will arise, and they will have you come to true clarity and understanding if we're willing to sit and be. It doesn't mean that you have to sit in this lotus position and wait for the divine to come. It can be simply a time out in the sun, a time by the river, a walk that you take. But in that, you're lessening that busyness in your brain. You're slowing that down. I was fascinated by we're 9 hours behind Europe, and today the Pope gave a talk today, and he talked about the need for ecology of the heart, developed through rest, contemplation, and compassion. That's what I'm talking about, ecology of the heart. To slow down through rest, contemplation, and compassion as a way to do that. And so this idea that we just become present and notice what is not part of being present. Notice your distractions. You don't need to follow them necessarily, just notice them. This week I was on a prayer call with a friend. It's a regular person that I call each week, and we pray for each other. And we just did a little quieting before we started the prayer, which we often do. That's what you did this morning, a little quieting. You notice where your thoughts are before you begin the prayer. And I noticed there was some anxiety in me, and I couldn't trace to what it was that, usually if I notice some anxiety, I notice what it is so I can let go. It didn't trace to anything. And what I recognized it as residual anxiety, residual pushing myself all the time, that my body, my brain, was used to it. That's not good. That's not good at all. That's not healthy. I mean, there are times that I'm going to work a little harder, but I also need to back away. I also need to be able to pull away when there's nothing to be concerned about, nothing to work towards. And I've been a little busier lately. So I just noticed that, and noticed that I took a little, and it was good to be in prayer. Notice that, to step back in that. And my friend and I, who's a minister here up in Seattle, we prayed together, and all is well. That we connected with that. And so that's a key, that we just check in with ourselves and the power that is within us. We disconnect from the auto reaction, the auto response that's in our lives. And, like the dog, when the ball is thrown, guess what? We don't have to go fetch it. We don't have to run after it. We can just watch the ball go, oh, I know that one. I've been there before. I know that drama. I know that pull in my life. I don't need to follow that. I can just be. But it's tempting, right? Tempting. We've been there. We've been chasing that ball for a long time in our lives, and it's a reaction. And we can just disconnect that part and be present. Now, also, I think the second thing I'd like to talk about following our furry friends is the joyful service to others. to love easily, forgive easily, laugh easily. And I appreciate it about my jokes, by the way. That's really, speaking of that, okay, so let's just practice doing a little laughing here, right? So speaking of the transcendentalists, there was a yogi coming from India, and he came over to the United States, and he had a toothache. So he went to the dentist, and the dentist said, "Okay, well, we got to pull your tooth." And he goes, "Well, I don't want any pain relief." And the dentist goes, "Are you crazy? I mean, it's going to really hurt." He goes, "No, I want to practice transcendental medication." Okay, see? All right, that's good. I didn't hear any growth. I heard more laughs and groans, so that's a good practice. You're looking a little skeptical there, Kenneth. So just be in joy and love and connect easily and play. Be willing to play. I mean, if you have the moment and you want to go play fetch, fine, but don't do it automatically. Have a playful spirit in what we do. I know that I love about dogs and cats is they're always in what Buddhists call beginner's mind. That everything is an awe, everything is new, everything is fresh and open and doesn't have the cynical view. Now, I know some of our cats, maybe it takes a day or two for them to get over, maybe if they didn't get the right kind of food or something, but they get there eventually. They forgive easily. Dogs just don't even remember it, They're like, "What are you talking about?" But still, they're willing. There are some things that take a little more time to forgive, to let go of. And yet we still seek that. We still seek the Spirit's revelation in us to do that and to maintain this prayerful openness and a sense of awe. Albert Einstein, it's interesting. I was in class the other day. I'm teaching a class on ancient wisdom. And I was talking about the disconnect that science has between God and the material world. And a person in the class, I appreciate him speaking up, because actually it's not science. Some scientists are very spiritual. Maybe most scientists or ones that are called materialist, yes. But some scientists are very spiritual, and we begin to talk about Albert Einstein. And Albert Einstein, it's interesting because when he would go around the country when he was alive and would give lectures, people would ask him questions. One of the most frequent questions is, "Do you believe in God?" Because they always wondered, because he has these concepts of the universe that are, theoretical. And he goes, he would always answer in the same way, "I believe in the God of Spinoza." Well, people were used to not understand what he talked about, so most people just kind of ignored that. But if you look at who he's talking about, the Spinoza was a 17th century Dutch philosopher, one of these free thinkers during the Renaissance, the Age of Enlightenment. And so I looked it up, and what Spinoza said about God, and God wrote as if he were the Spirit speaking. Once again, we're singing from God. Jefferson cut up the Bible. If you're a free thinker, you can channel this, knowing that you resonate with this thought. So Spinoza said, from the voice of God, "Stop blaming me for your miserable life. I never told you that there was anything wrong with you, or that you were a sinner, or that your sexuality was a bad thing. All life has been given to you, and with which you can express your love, your ecstasy, your joy. So don't blame me for everything that they made you believe. Stop being so scared of me. I do not judge you or criticize you, nor get angry or seek to punish you. I am pure love. Stop asking for forgiveness. There's nothing to forgive. If I made you, I filled you with passions, limitations, pleasure, feelings, needs, inconsistency, free will, right? How can I blame you if you respond to something I put in you? How could I punish you for being the way you are? I'm the one who made you. Do you think that I would create a place to burn all of my children who behave badly for the rest of eternity? What kind of God would do that? Forget any kind of commandments, any kind of laws that were wills to manipulate you, to control you, that only create guilt in you. Respect your peers and don't do what you don't want done to yourself. All I ask is that you pay attention in your life, that your consciousness be your guide. All right. I have set you absolutely free, no prizes or punishments. I'm still looking for the prize. Really? No prizes? I'm still collecting gold stars, thinking that they mean something, right? No punishment, no prizes. No one carries a marker. No one keeps a record. So all that stuff about Santa Claus might not be true either, huh? You're absolutely free to create in your life heaven or hell. I know that one. How many people know that one? Yeah. I'm bored. This is a funny one here. I'm bored being praised. I'm tired of being thanked. Feeling grateful? Prove it by taking care of yourself, your health, your relationships, the world. Express your joy. That's the way to praise me. Stop complicating things. The only thing for sure is that you are here, that you are alive, and this world is full of wonders. Why do you need more? So many explanations. Look for me outside, you won't find me. Meaning outside of yourself, not nature necessarily, but find me inside. There I am beating within you. The wisdom of Baruch Spinoza. Yeah, let's give him a round of applause. So the last thing I want to talk about here, so we've been talking about sit and stay, being joyful in service, and finally to vibe with your tribe. To vibe with your tribe. So like a dog that's in a pack, they go in this pack and they have this vibe. Now, cats are less about packs. They're more solitary, but they do connect with people. And I tell you what, my cat loves when she sits in my lap, there's that purring going on. That's a vibration for sure. The connection that we feel, and we can feel that vibe within ourselves. We could purr in meditation, purr in our prayers, and feel this deeper connection. And we can have a vibe with a community, with people we work with, our family, our communities. And we want this vibe so that we are vibrating together and raising the consciousness together. Carl Jung and Ernest Holmes both, actually I found out that they knew each other. Carl Jung talked about the collective unconscious. Ernest Holmes, our founder, talked about the creative medium. And the idea these are subjective. So like the soil, we plant the seed in them. But there's also a collective consciousness that Ernest Holmes talked about. And this is when we raise the vibration, when we're mindful and we're not being held down by things, by regrets or worries or fears, and we are raising the vibration on this planet and this universe to create a higher vibration, a higher consciousness. And we do that because we are connecting with each other, because we are part of this Sangha and part of doing this spiritual practice, and we're recognizing the divine, we're living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. And we'll be able to walk out of our self-imposed restrictions and recognize that we are alive and the world is full of wonders, as Spinoza said. And live our gratitude by taking care of ourselves, our health, our relationships, the world, and express our joy. So my question for you today is, how can we surrender to a greater wisdom and serve the life, serve spirit, serve the greater knowingness than life today? So let us go to prayer. What I know in this moment, that Spirit is all there is. And so as we let go, we know the Spirit within us is revealing that which we need to know. A peace, a love, a joy. And it is from this foundation, that we build our interdependence. We declare this interdependence in the world. We know the greater truth of who we are and how we are seeking to reveal. And any given situation that may be difficult, as we hold those who are holding a prayer for themselves or for other people, or a thought of intention, whether it's written down, expressed, or just in your mind right now, and we know that Spirit is acting through this situation, through this person, through you, and allowing a greater revelation, a spirit, a greater consciousness, a greater vibration, and we're allowing this purr of vibrations, purr of Spirit to come through us and express in perfect ways. And knowing in our hearts and our soul that all is well. We may not know everything. We don't need to know. We know the Spirit is through us this perfection. And for this, we're grateful for today and every day. And so it is. And a little more Georgia now.
A little more Georgia now. So just so you know, my mentor musically and spiritually is Melissa Philippe of Melissa and Z, if you know them. And so I was preparing for this today, and I talked to Melissa, and she said, "Oh, I have the best song for you." And it isn't even produced yet. It hasn't ever been performed. She's letting me perform it before her and letting you all have it first. So we're going to sing a little of it today. Unfortunately, we don't have the slides, but you'll learn it now and we'll sing it later, okay? Do we have a slide? So if you didn't realize already that you're special, you are special. And today we get to have this brand new song. Ready, Joseph? It's easy too. To the greatest good you have for me. Yes to this good, and let it bless me. All of the good that you want to bring, I allow it, and I say yes. I say yes, 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 yes. I say yes. I say yes, 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 yes. I say yes. You got that. Oh, come on now. Woo, boom, boom, boom. All the joy. I say yes to the greatest joy you have for me. Yes to this joy, and let it bless me. All of the joy that you want to bring, I allow it, and I say yes. I say yes, 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 yes. I say yes. I say yes, 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 yes. I say yes. That's her playing. Woo, 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 woo. All the love. Yeah, yeah. I say yes to the greatest love you have for me. Yes to this love, I let it bless me. All of the love that you want to bring, I allow it, and I say yes. I say yes, 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 yes. I say yes. I say yes, 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 yes. I say yes. I say yes, 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 yes. I say yes. I say yes, 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 yes. I say yes. Who did fabulously.
I love it. Great song. Great song. Now, Melissa's not going to be able to sing it here because it's your song now.
You could sing along with it because it's not really a sing-along song. So
Oh.
seriously, she rewrote it just for us for today.
Well,
A
let's
little
give her a round of
changes.
applause, too. Her and Z are going to be with us on August 1st. So coming up very, very quickly here.
Yeah, they'll do the talk and the music and everything. So
Right. That'd be great. That'd be great. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Georgia, for all your music today.
thank you for being here and thank you for the talk, Jay.
So now's the time of our sharing of abundance. And we have a new ritual of singing a song during this time for you to contemplate not only what you're considering to share with us for abundance, and you're welcome to bring it up and put it in the basket during the song, but also what you're committing to in your life, your intention at this time. My question for you about what can surrendering to a greater wisdom within you serve in your life right now? So how can surrendering to this greater wisdom serve in your life right now? It's something to contemplate while Georgia sings us a song, and you're welcome to bring up your sharing of abundance either in the front or the back. So.
And you can sing it with me too. It's easy. It's Namaste. You guys remember that one? Yeah. Oh, bless Joseph. He's doing such a great job too. And if you know anyone who's an accompanying musician, we're looking for someone. Have them contact me. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste.
The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. All is beautiful, all is well, all is beautiful, all is well. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. All is beautiful, all is well. All is beautiful, all is well.
Given online, there's links for that on our website, as well as time and talent that you've given to this center. So we hold all of that, and we affirm that divine love as
me. Blesses and multiplies all that I
have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. And we also, I'm just going to close this up because I don't know why it's doing that. Is it that's not working? What? The camera's not working? It came unplugged then. We'll finish up the service either way. So those online are missing out. But we do want to appreciate those who are here for the first time today. And if you're willing to raise your hand and let yourself be acknowledged, we would like to give you a special greeting as a first timer. So a couple right here. Anybody else? I think everything else is welcome very much. We like to give an affirmation, a blessing for those who are our first time guests, as well as everybody here. So we just raise our hands and we say, we bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community. And so it is. We also bless our children and who are out in our communities and far, far away. We just bless them and just really say, we love you, we care for you, and we're here for you. And so it is. And finally, our community affirmation, if you'll repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
I am led by Spirit.
I am led by Spirit.
I'm guided by wisdom.
I am guided by wisdom.
I am protected by love.
I am protected by love.
I am here to be a blessing.
I am here to be a blessing.
I am so grateful.
I am so grateful.
And so it is.
So it is.
And now a closing song.
And you can stand, and now you've already practiced it, right? I say yes, that special song. And it goes good, joy, love, and I'll let you know. That's right, snap. Woo! I say yes to the greatest good you have for me. Yes to this good and let it bless me. All of the good that you want to bring, I allow it and I say yes. I say yes, 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 yes. I say yes. I say yes, 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 yes. I say yes. Ooh, yeah, sing along. The joy. I say yes to the greatest joy you have for me. Yes to this joy and let it bless me. All of the joy that you wanna bring, I allow it and I say yes. I say yes, 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 yes. I say yes. I say yes, 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 yes. I say yes. All the love you can handle. Whoa, yeah. I say yes to the greatest love you have for me. Yes to this love and let it bless me. All of the love that you wanna bring, I allow it and I say yes. I say yes, 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 yes. I say yes. I say yes, 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 yes. I say yes. I say yes, 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 yes. I say yes. One more time. I say yes, 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 yes. I say yes. You guys look great.
Word we say
Yes.
yes. All right. Have a wonderful day. It just came unplugged, right?